Alright, hello and welcome back everyone. So I actually decided I kind of wanted to accomplish a couple of things here in the Minecraft world. So we'll continue on the Easter thing, but I'm intrigued by the idea of making kind of like some barns hybrid out of the existing structure, which is pretty messed up for the animals. They're just in like a trapdoor room like underground, but building them a chunnel. So I need all this sand. Let's see, okay. I guess I don't need like ton. This might be a little overkill. I like gathering up sand whenever I'm in like, if you're gonna do it, like fill your pockets. I was gonna say I usually try to do it to where it doesn't look like I've harvested, so it like still looks kind of like naturally occurring. It's like not what I just did. There you go. Round around the edges. Anyways. But no, I was saying last time, I'm having more faith for the future and for the near future because of communication technology, and it's just so profound that it's like finally hitting like that. Like people being able to communicate, to reach out, to understand that people are people from all over, and like just that humanity makes it harder to oppress other people. And also, it's not that like a lot of people are doing it on purpose. I mean, yes, there definitely are those, but and for whatever reasons, there's a whole wide range of reasons. Like I'm doing it on purpose to maintain my wealthy status. Like, oh, that's uncomfortable to me. I don't want to have to go and like work extra hard. Like that just doesn't sound good at all. Like, I mean, that's like the whole idea of uh, Shoots Creek. It's really not that, but I'll get censored if I say the real name. So, but anyways, it's a great show about a wealthy family that they lose it all, and they have to move to a redneck town, and they have to live simple lives, and have to go work jobs, and you know, live like normal people, and like, oh my gosh, the peasants and all that, which is where a lot of us normal people live. I mean, especially if you've lived in small towns or whatnot. I mean, I grew up in a small town, very simple, and we worried about the problems at hand. We didn't worry about all the things that we didn't know was going on. It's like, well, excuse me, I didn't know. It's like, but I mean, now you can't. There's no like excuse, and it's hard because a lot of the times, oh, it really is just that wealthy families up on top that don't want to, or whatever, or maybe even like the wealthier. I mean, there is a misconception that we're all over here super rich, just like having. I mean, we're having great lives over in America, but it's not like everybody's driving a Lamborghini or a Porsche or whatever. Although I have been seeing quite a few of those. There's some pretty rich people in Foco, and there's rich people in Denver. But anyways, or even just well off. I don't know. If I go through a midlife crisis, I could get a maybe not a Lamborghini. Like I feel like that's a little maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's a good like 20, 30 years down the road. So, and I probably will. I used to want to get a Corvette, and then I actually had a friend recently pass away in a Corvette. But it was interesting because I was like, huh. I actually know somebody now that A was able to attain their dream car and B still didn't help like in the long run, he still died short. But so take life with a grain of salt, don't be too serious. At the same time, go for it, but respect others. And I think it's that respect thing and it's unintentional too. It's not like people are like wake up like, "Oh, I'm going to go disrespect people." I mean, I even had a specific instance of that. I had some roommates for a time that may or may not have done some time in prison. So, and I didn't know that dropping the B word is basically like fighting words. Like, because in prison, when you've got nowhere else to go and you really want to, like, you're angry at somebody, like, one of the worst ways to show that, hey, I'm really serious, like, we're going to fight later, or, more effective, like, ultra, like, if you're turning the dial to, like, ultra effective, you throw the B word. And so when it's heard in casual conversation, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It grates against people because it then puts them in the alert fight mode and it triggers them. Same with like PTSD in a military situation. Like if you're in a life and death situation, especially if you just took someone's life or and you're worried about someone taking yours. Yeah, which makes it even that much scarier. America spreading freedom and democracy over our 250 years of being a country. So, and we're talking about other countries having problems going back thousands of years. Like they're drudging up all this old stuff. The Native Americans, the original stewards, and I consider myself American now. I mean, Native American history is my history partly. I mean, it's my country. So it's worth studying. That's why I love Nyanuki. That's a little book. I actually have a signed copy. I don't think it's the original one, but I think my copy was signed as well. I got it in Nevada, and I think I don't know. I want to say that, but this one I think I got off of Amazon. And either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, the whole fandom and everything, like, cool, but the message is more important. And, like, it teaches about a lot of native customs and just kind of gives some perspective, an inside glimpse of like what life was like in this place, before Europe colonized it. Ooh, look. And we're colonizing the crud out of all this stuff. I haven't even seen this. This is just tucked in here. I mean, we'll actually just leave the riches there. We'll have that the little ofrenda someone else maybe made or an altar. I'm just kidding. Usually I do destroy stuff. Where's all the... Oh, wait, never mind. There is no obsidian. I'm guessing that I already ransacked this thing. The proverbial car on cinder blocks when you come back. I just saw a meme the other day. It was like Rapunzel. Um, Wait, we were actually over by the water. That's right. We have a boat. But anyways, it was this knight, this brave adventurer, like this valiant knight, as they had in medieval times, went to go rescue this Rapunzel-like lady, this um, beautiful princess trapped in a tower by her evil family, locked away, which also never really made a lot of sense. But anyways, being held captive by your family. But maybe that's the original chastity belt, and that was the only way they can ensure that they wouldn't just have kids as soon as they turned old enough. Like, I get it now. Okay, that's the non-Disney version of, huh. Apologies if any kids end up watching it. And that's what you gotta, like, unless I actually set this to 18 plus, which I hate to do that because I feel like teenagers for sure. My own kids, I talk about a lot of this stuff. I mean, maybe not that stuff, but like religion, ideas. Is it provable? Is it, or at least to the point, and then what's at stake too? Like, and that's part of more of like the businessy marketing type. Like, if you're going to be a manager or try to run a business or like run a team, you need to be able to look at it and be like, okay, who all is affected by this decision? Like, I mean, what blowback is going to come from this? All the different things that you have to take into consideration when you do like supervisor training, which not everyone gets. I mean, when you're young, you're lucky to get supervisor training as an assistant manager in whatever place you work at. Like, I mean, I've had Subway, Noodles. I worked at Subway twice actually, for like 2 weeks up in Buny. I hated it. I just couldn't do it. It was like I was already having trouble like public speaking. I just took a class in it for CMC or Colorado Mountain College up there, and but I was still like pretty nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, like talking in front of people, looking like a fool, and they're gonna remember. And especially when you're young, like you think that everybody's laughing at you, like like you're never gonna live this down. And oh my gosh, it's such a tragedy, Romeo Juliet, whatever. And it's like, nah. I mean, and again, your brain's not fully developed, so it's not able to make as good connections. Like, oh, the relative importance of this is, it's less important, And part of that is communication. Like, if you're not able to see, oh, sorry, hold on, that's. Sorry, I just got a message. I need to check it real quick. Oh, jeez. All right. Anyways, um, whew, sorry, that just kind of derailed everything. That's okay. I got some. obligations I'm gonna have to do. So we will get back to the festivities. Sorry, that was just like a mood killer. Anyways, back to the chunnel. Let's get some sand cooking. I don't even know where to put all these things. Like, we just have like a wall of. Hmm. Oh, I need wood, which. Alright. So, I don't know. Religion, all that. That's why it was great living with Saudis. I had Saudi roommates in college and just learning about like their religion. We didn't talk a whole lot about it, but at the same time, like if I had questions, they were just like right there. And even my parents' generation didn't have that level of communication technology. I mean, granted, we were like integrating cultures and whatnot, but at the same time, just having YouTube and all these social medias like TikTok. I'm seriously debating getting a TikTok, but then again, I don't know. Like, I feel like that could go bad. I mean, if anything, I need to go back to working more on the educational projects, like that Scratch program for learning the presidents. Let's go ahead and just stash this for now. Or can we? We need wood. Take some of this. Mm, all right. So wait, wood and uh, okay, okay. Sorry, I'm gearing up. Man, I shouldn't have looked at that message. Happy Easter. Oh, anyways, no, mm. Well, so part of my activities today is I need to clean out the other shower. So I have two bathrooms in this house, and I usually keep the main one pretty clean, but I need to clean out the other one. And let's just say this rental hasn't really been kept all that tidy. Like I didn't inherit a very tidy one, and I've actually been here for a few years, and I haven't kept up with the best of times. So I need to do better about that. One of those many things. Ugh. That means gearing up for it, getting ready. Let's see. Let's go get some uh, bone meal. Drop off some of this stuff to be churned into bone meal. And this. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, without giving away too much personal information, I got to do a bunch of chores. And actually, another big thing that I've been kind of dragging my feet on is donating clothes that don't fit anymore, and just trying to figure out the best place to process that. And which usually involves like I go through, I wash them because I want them to be clean by the before donating them, so other people don't have to worry about it as much. At least definitely not like smelly. I mean, especially when the kids were younger. I mean, there could have been accidents and whatnot. Actually, I don't even know why I'm continue to do that. So, anyways, we got a lot of things we can do in this Minecraft world. I guess it is a little bit overwhelming. So, I mean, the first thing, gathered up a bunch of, I feel like the underpants gnomes in South Park. Like, they gather a bunch of underpants, and then they have the missing step, and then the third step, big profit. And that's the way a lot of thinking is. I mean, and that's a very ridiculous and intentionally so way of thinking of it, but you can really apply that to a lot of things. Is like people get so like focused on the end goal, like I need to make a lot of money, I need to do this, and then shortcuts are easy to take, and whether or not those shortcuts, how they affect you, who they affect, a more macro worldly way of things thinking, and that's hard to do if you're distracted with, I don't know, friction. I'd say life friction. And we need to do better about, what the heck? Um, sorry, I just, I'm not looking forward to this call. But I'm going to do it after this video and we'll see. So, it could affect the rest of whether I even make videos today or, um, okay. And you got to be careful with this because you're going to get a lot of floating trees. Jungle trees especially. Alright. But yeah, I want to get some progress on the other projects because that Scratch program, remembering the presidents, I almost want to like call my old high school, or not even high school, it's my elementary school, all up in Buny, like, but that's where I first learned it. I remember the teacher, and I remember most of the pictures too, just how ridiculous they were, like washing a ton of clothes on the White House lawn, our Capitol, and then, which is funny because they actually have the Capitol, which is not the White House. The White House is where the president lives. Then there's an actual building called the Capitol, and then House of Congress, and all the stuff that you learn growing up. And then I even took a class in college, but I still feel like I could easily goof something like that. Be like on jaywalking, where Jay Leno used to walk around the streets of New York and ask people like questions that a kid should be able to answer, and they would honestly be just, have no idea. They'd just be like, well, I don't know. And some of them were just really amazing. Like, I don't know. And there's a lot of reasons for that too, like not having access to good communication technology, and that's why I'd really like to make some progress on that, getting some more laptops. Like, and even not that, like, I mean, maybe talking more and communicating with a couple more of my colleagues that work at other companies and just have them do the red key, or like each IT department. I feel like that's already happening, but I don't know. It'd be good to talk to, I think the library is like one of the better solutions for like a hub like that. But basically the idea is taking laptops that would normally be going to like the recycling place, or being wiped professionally and then disposed of, recycled, or what have you. And maybe even those places too. Like, I wonder if it's not already going on. Because that's a blind spot for me. Like, I'm not a young kiddo or person trying to get a computer. But as I say that, I have looked at computers recently just to kind of, for a family member, to kind of help them out because their tech is kind of lacking. Even refurbished, like strong ones, they still go for quite a bit of money. So, and then like really nice brand new ones, if you try to do like a gaming computer, it's like a good couple grand. And even actually just a good computer in general, I needed one to run a bunch of virtual machines. That was about 2 grand. So, and I think you can now pay off things in like payments, which, with the amount of money I was making growing up, and I worked, all through high school, all through college, all through, I'd say the time that I didn't have a job was probably only like a handful of months since I was like 14. So, well, I mean, in school, like I had a job, but I was also in sports too. Like, so I had a job that was playing football. I mean, and sometimes we had 2 days. Like, you'd run 2 practices a day. So there's 2 hours of your life where you're like, you're exercising, you're hitting people, you're doing this, you're doing that. Ugh, sorry, it's getting cold. Hmm. Good old Colorado, of course. Like, so I dropped off my son. I didn't take his jackets, and I think that's what this is about. And which just means fun. I might need to make a trip and go drop off a jacket, so which I'll have to wait till later. But all right, 10 minutes. Okay. Not that I'm trying to like rush through this, but I just like feel guilty. Like, should I stop this video? And I'm not that good at splicing them together yet. Like, okay. So, anyways, as for this idea, so I've got the cows here, and what I'm thinking is we could make like clear out a bunch of room, make a barn, or like some kind of building. Yeah, a barn. I mean, that's fair. A cow house. So if you watch Breaking Bad, that's what the funny thing that Jesse says. You know, the cow house, place where the cows live. A cow house? Just like, communication. Like how some people, it might not be on their radar to know what the proper word for a house or a building that houses animals. It could be a ranch, a feedlot, or it could be a domicile. I don't know. Anyways, the point is to take this existing structure and then layer up like stairs or like slowly cut down. But then you do need some kind of fencing or walls or something. Oh, I'm starting to shake too. It's getting cold. I turned the heat off to save but once it starts getting cold, you should never let it go below 60. So I turned it like way down. But or at least keep it on 60 um, when you leave. Otherwise, your pipes can freeze. So there you go. A little life lessons if you ever come to Colorado, or if you ever live in Colorado or similar places. It gets cold. Because even as I say that, I went to Minnesota for a work trip, and it was freezing. It was so cold. It was like an ice rink, and cars were sliding everywhere. I learned how to drive pretty quick, like, how much or how gentle you need to be with the gas. Now, that's something a lot of people don't understand. They try to come here to go skiing or whatever, and it's like, in fact, I remember I was the designated driver. Sometime I was like, I don't want to drive. I just want to make sure that we get home alive. Like, ugh. And it was a very big snowstorm, and we had just got back from either Breckenridge or Keystone. I don't know. I was with some fancy girl from California who, like, oh yeah, I know snow. I know driving snow. It's like, no, you don't know Colorado driving. Like, and that's nothing against them. It's just they just aren't as. There's a chance, sorry, I should say, that they aren't as. Oh, shoot. Familiar. Oh, I just spilled something. Oh no. I think this is a sign. Oh well. It can sustain for 10 minutes. Alright. Sorry, I had a glass of milk here that I was going to be drinking here soon and I spilled it slightly. Happy Easter. So, now my hands are milky. I'm going to have to wash the controller. It's okay. You should regularly wipe your controller and stuff anyway. Actually, I'm going to do that just real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna make a phone call and clean up a milk spill. It's a happy Easter Sunday. No, I do have a lot of other things I'm gonna be doing too, and I've already started. I did a load of dishes. I did laundry last night, so that's okay. Um, when we decorated eggs, we did all the stuff, we did all the things. Um, oh, all right. Sorry, now I'm thinking I just need to get my son a hoodie because like his other jackets, they're a little small. I don't know, and I left his good big one, which I got him. I mean, and like, darned if you do, darned if you don't. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that like, sorry, that came off wrong. Like, I got my son this jacket, and I thought it was really slick. He likes it. I think he's impartial, and my co-parent's not too fond of it. I think she saw it as less practical, maybe, because it doesn't have a hood. It's not as water resistant. It's more like a cloth, but it is like this fancy, and it's got this like fur inside, like fake fur, that faux fur. But remembering, my experiences as a kid in the cold, like I like this, couple of furry hoodies I had over the years, especially when you're up in the snow, like in ski areas and stuff. Like, I mean, yeah, you want a snowboard jacket or a ski jacket, like an actual like heavy one. But if you can't have that, then yeah, a hoodie with some fur inside, it's just fine. Fake fur though. I don't support the whole. Now, if they could ethically take the fur off of, like, and not have like the skin, and even if so, like maybe if you're eating it or something, I don't know. Because the natives, that's part of their culture, was like the teepees are made out of the buffalo skin. Like they use the buffalo skin for their blankets and for their some clothing and stuff. But not all clothing. I think that was more. I don't even know. I mean, maybe it was buffalo skin, like skirts and shorts and what have you, and loincloth type things. I don't know, but it's very if you study like human culture around the world, the Kung Bush people, the Bushmen, even though I say like men means humans, but the Bush humans, but Bush people I think is a better way. But anyways, um, they they're to this day, or I don't even know if it's like right now still, but there were still times like even in the recent history that there were tribes of people that lived off the land of the old ways and just kind of still survived. But it was more survival, and there's a lot of debate of like contacting like tribes that are off still doing things, but it's there's also an argument for the rate of exposure and the rate of change. Like you don't want them to just launch into it would be scary. I mean, like we're still kind of having growing pains every day, like how humanity and society is adjusting. And if you talk to people from other generations about certain topics, you'll hear it. It's just like it's that inertia, that adversity to change, adversity to forward momentum. But I don't know. And there's also just the idea of corruption, and just with how much money goes into our own politics. That's why we have such a clown show, or basically a circus of our own nonsense with politics and how we lead this country, which is, possibly one of the most influential countries on the planet, and like also one of the most dangerous, like, but at the same time not, and like I don't know. And dangerous for who too, I guess, because like on a scale depending on who you are, Putin, and like the quality of life and all this, and like the happiness of the average person or the poorest person. Which, and as I say that, they probably have some stellar like homeless program that's better than ours, but then like their policing of substances, I feel like I don't know. I'd have to see all of the like. So I'm watching this Professor Hikela, some of his videos on China and how the different spheres of influence you can trace all these lines, because that is important to see more macro level. Because if you just say, "Oh, Putin sucks," like he's like a dictator or whatever, like because he's been president for a long time now, okay, but like specifics, like I mean, how does he treat people? Like, are people like in fear of their life or in fear of their freedom or in fear of their safety? Like, is it impacting them? And I'd say lengthy prison sentences for speaking out against it is right up there. So I mean, and I think all of us like that's the pot calling the kettle black. Like for every finger I point at Russia, there needs to be three pointing back at us. And the U.S. We jail too many people. We keep too many people in prison for years and years, just like rotting on a shelf. And then, as I say that, we do have a lot of community corrections programs that's reintegrating them back into society. So it's not like you can just do a crime and get off scot-free, but at the same time, you might be shelved for some of your more dangerous years, and then you can be put back in gently or whatever. And depending on, but the thing we're finding is like, by doing that, if they have kiddos or something, or people that depend on them, you're actually causing more harm than good. And so their absence, it needs to be more of like an integrated thing. And so there's a lot more focus on therapeutic answers, therapy and reform that way, but also the expense of that too. And so it's a vicious cycle, and it's a revolving door because I don't know. You're more likely to screw up if things aren't going well, and it's if you haven't learned how to do it right, then sorry, that's very vague and not very helpful. I feel like I'll work on explaining that. But for now, we've got fuel, we've got sand, we've got glass. I might just zone out and do some building this afternoon, depending on what I got to do. I might need to make a run back down to another town. So, like I said, here in a little bit. I got a couple other things I really need to do too, but and we're actually getting close on that 30-minute mark. We got, oh yeah, got plenty of fuel, firewood and stuff. We got these growing. So. And then I still want to fix that up. I don't want to block it off too much. I kind of like this being like a plains area. But basically what I'm going to do is like cut from like here, make it like a baseball field, like a baseball diamond, then like have the stairs lower down, and then have like a fence. and a building. Yeah. So, oh, we've got murciélagos, Spanish for bats. All right, we'll call it there. Have a happy Easter, everybody. If I don't see you again today, and ta ta for now. No, I'll see you in the next one. All right, ta ta.